tell us just a little bit, a little blurb about your book. Describe the book in just a couple of sentences to our readers. What's Journey to Omani all about?
Journey to Omani is a young adult sci-fi murder mystery book. It's kind of got everything. It's actually a kind of a comedy, a little romance. Basically, it's about an 18-year-old surfer kid in a really small, antiquated town. And where he lives, it's not really that up to date with technology. And his mother is a hospitality technician, which is fancy word for maid in the future. She's a maid at a hotel, and his mom's best friend is murdered.
Yeah, but what happens though before that is that they end up moving to the asteroid, Omani.
Well, no, in the prologue, his mom's best friend's murdered, and then she asks for a reassignment because she just can't work there anymore. Too many bad memories, and so then she gets that reassignment accepted, and they move her to a hotel on Omani, which is inside of an asteroid.
Yeah, we'll talk about that too, the technology, because it's kind of interesting.
And she's excited. The 90-year-old grandmother character in the book is really excited, but who's not excited is Levi, the main character. He's a typical teenager, kind of stuck in his ways kind of thing. And so anyway, they move there.
There's no surf on an asteroid, dude.
No, there's no ocean on the asteroid, So they go there, and anyway, very shortly after, the book explodes. Okay, so there's bombs, and there's another murder, and so his mom's is actually arrested. So the book is basically him in this new, crazy, technologically advanced world by himself, while he has his 90-year-old grandmother there, and while his mom's in jail, and he has to try to solve what is going on. It just seems like his whole world is turned upside down.
Literally, right?
Yeah, in fact, literally, in some cases.
Explain how that works, because that was one thing that I really like, because when you think of a city in space or whatever, you think of just like down here. You've got gravity. You got the city, the buildings are here, but the way that it's made, they actually do it inside the asteroid, so they've got two cities.
Yeah, so if this was the asteroid, the city would actually be, they carved out the middle, so the city is on the top and at the bottom, and they spin it for artificial gravity, so you could be on the bottom and looking up, and there'd be a city coming down at you.
I only had that happen after I've had a lot of alcohol.
Yeah, but then, if you were on this side, this would look upside down, and centrifugal force, artificial gravity, it's not something that I came up with at all. Of course, it's in a lot of science fiction, Interstellar, that kind of thing.
Tell them about the little people mover, too, if you want to go from one side of the asteroid to the other.
Oh, yeah, there's there's roads, too, but there's pedestrian bypasses, they call them, that take you from the floor to the ceiling. The floor is where the spaceport is, basically. And so, it takes you up. And as you reach the middle of the asteroid, there's no centrifugal force, so there's no gravity. So you basically float there for a second, in your seat. It's kind of like a amusement park ride, and then it flips, and then it takes you down to the other side, and then slowly, you feel the weight in your seat, and as the gravity starts to work again. But yeah, in the middle, there'd be no gravity, and one of the characters has a little
accident,
barfing moment, which can be really disgusting when there's no gravity around and a bunch of people. So
I'm sure a few astronauts could probably attest to that. They don't. NASA doesn't publicize that stuff, but I'm sure it happens.
Yeah.
Because some people don't take to zero G very well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but
in fact, that's why they call you know what they call the aircraft that they use to train astronauts on, don't you? It's called the Vomit Comet for a reason. And true story.
I get seasick really easily. So I could not ever go to space.
So you wouldn't want to go to Omani. It wouldn't be your dream.
Nope, would not be mine.
Trip.
I just like imagining it from the ground.
So how did you imagine this entire world? I mean, because there's a lot of details in there that really shocked me.
So world building, I feel like, is just so important for science fiction,
Terraforming,
and you have to really imagine yourself there, or else you're not going to like the story. So it's pretty detailed, but at the same time, it definitely developed a lot over time. Like I originally had the city on the outside of the asteroid,
right.
and then you think about it, you're like, that wouldn't make any sense.
There's no air,
no atmosphere. there's no protection from radiation.
Right.
So you kind of. I've spent 10 years thinking about this book. I mean, literally, like 10 years working out all the details. So I had pretty much figured out, but like the pedestrian bypass, like I didn't get to that part till I was actually like sitting there writing it, like, whoa, this is so cool, like and I so a lot of things.
What I thought was cool too is you referred to it as the Las Vegas of space.
Yeah, the Las Vegas of space. Yeah, I've never been to Las Vegas.
Don't
actually.
Worry. You've missed it. It's not Las Vegas anymore.
But you know how everyone thinks of Las Vegas, just like crazy lights, lots of culture, lots of debauchery, I guess. So that's kind of Omani is a mandatory port of customs.
Right.
Like if you want to go anywhere else in space, you have to go to Omani first.
Because it's located between the Earth and the Moon.
Yes, and if you want to go,
tell them how it got there too. That was kind of an interesting story.
Yeah, so
it's kind of like the backstory to the book.
Yeah, the backstory. Why is there an asteroid there in the first place? It kind of is described in the prologue of the book. Basically, it's typical asteroid coming towards Earth.
Armageddon.
Right? Yeah. And
we're all going to die.
We're all going to die. The asteroid's huge, and we can't stop it.
Bigger than the one that wiped out the dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Party's over, dude.
Yeah, so everyone is like, the whole world knows that life on Earth as we know it is going to end. So everyone's kind of like bracing each other. Some people have already killed themselves. The government has given like little pills that help. Basically, they act as like a anesthetic or whatever to knock you out, so you don't have to feel anything. And then we're saved basically by aliens.
The aliens.
Yeah, and they're friendly aliens. They're friendly.
Thank goodness.
Aliens. Yes. So which is really interesting because I'm a biology teacher, so even coming up with everything about the aliens themselves, to me, like I was like, how should they look? Oh, they'll have spikes. And no, like I really thought about, what they would look like, the planet they're coming from, why did they just show up all of a sudden? And so...
How long have they known about us?
How long have they known about us? Like all this stuff. So, and a lot of the backstory in the main book, there's a whole political conference going on. So there's a lot of politics between the aliens and the humans. The humans are not happy with things going on. Basically, the aliens keep humans from exploring space. So there's a whole political conference.
Can you blame them? Would you really want us out there?
I wouldn't want us out there now.
Anyway, you can find out more about Journey to Omani by going to Good Books Online. In fact, on the home page right now, if you scroll down a couple of inches, you'll be able to click on the book, and it takes you to a page that gives you an opportunity to learn more about Ashley. Read the blurb, read a few sample chapters, and as soon as we post this video, that will be on there as well.
I write better than I speak, by the way.
Speaking of speaking, tell them about your new book, because I understand you're getting ready to launch your second novel.
Yeah, so this is a trilogy, and the main character has a love interest. Her name is Talon, like Eagle's Talon, and all the drama that takes place during this book is kind of resolved in the short term. Kind of like Harry Potter, each book kind of wraps up, but there's still the huge bad guy out there, So it wraps up, and then the problem kind of gets passed on to his love interest. So her name's Talon, and the second book is called An Eagle's Revenge. Mm-hmm. And it takes place...
Set on Omani too?
Actually, no, it takes place 5 years after this book. And she has just finished... it's basically like a Black Ops program.
Okay.
And so basically she's training to bring him down. So so this book is mostly Talon, even though I do have a few chapters that are Levi because they're separated for all of the book pretty much. And lots of drama. A lot of it takes place on Earth. She actually goes to the alien planet. And she's on the moon. I've terraformed the moon, which is also a huge, fun process to do on a mission. And she also she's all over the place. There's that's more the book where, you know, they're going to the moon, they're going to another exoplanet, they're going to the aliens planet, there's like scenes on Earth, there's a big solar storm.
So what you're saying is the journey continues.
Yes, the journey really continues. It gets crazy. And then the third book, oh man, I can't even give you any major clues because it'll give away the ending of the second book, but it's gonna be like no book that's ever been written. It's gonna be insane. And I have some scientists that I actually sit down with, and I have coffee with once a month, and we sit down and we talk about things. You know, is this right? I actually have a military friend who, because I have a lot of military jargon in this book. I mean,
Right.
that's one reason I love writing. I mean, as a teacher, I love learning. So I've learned so much about everything, science and space and politics and the law and criminal justice and now the military. So it's like, it's just so cool to write. I'm sure you.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's awesome.
All right, so
Yeah.
thank you very much for
Yeah.
coming on the show today, and stick around because at the end we'll introduce you and tell them where they can find you some more.
Awesome. Thank you.